Busy, busy, busy Wednesday morning. Lots going on. Christine's talking about that Hotel Utica thing. Have an update coming up on that. It could be finally, after all these years, a resolution of that, which is big. Broome County Republican. His name is George Phillips. He made the announcement over the weekend and made it official yesterday that he's thrown his hat into the race for Congress, targeting the seat that will be vacated when Congressman Richard Hanna retires at the end of the year. Now, Phillips will be facing, at this point, in a Republican primary, Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney, and George Phillips is on the line right now. George, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Greater Utica, and thank you so much for having me on the show.
So tell us about you. We don't know you here, and what? This is your third run for Congress, am I correct?
Yes, our last run was 2010, and we had a really close race. We had 48% of the vote. I was in a district from Ithaca to Poughkeepsie that had Binghamton in it, my home area. We had 43,000 more Democrats. We campaigned, we scrapped, we were on doors, and by the end of it, we were the number 2 race in the nation, and Bill Clinton campaigned against us. We lost, and then Congressman Hanna had northern Broome County already. He came in and took the rest of Broome County in the redistricting in 2012.
You know, some of the things that you've campaigned on are in direct contrast with some of the votes that Congressman Richard Hanna has made. What are your thoughts? Are you running as someone who would defy the things that Congressman Hanna has done?
Well, I'm my own man. You know, I'll let Richard speak for himself too, and I'm certainly not running against him. I'd love to tell listeners a little more about my background. I grew up in the Binghamton area. Obviously, Binghamton and Utica have a lot of similarities. Huge immigrant populations that helped found our areas. We've both fallen on tough times. I was actually working in manufacturing in the 90s during my summers in college, and I had friends losing their job. My brother lost his job in Binghamton. He was actually up in New Hartford working at the GE plant, and then they changed to Martin Marietta. He lost his job, and he went down south. I think that's unfortunately something we have in common. We all have friends and family who we wish could be in upstate New York but have left because of the job situation.
Yeah.
I know our state is a lot of the problem, but the federal government's piling it on, and that's what we want to focus on in our campaign, the economy. Just a couple other things about my background listeners might be interested too. I was fortunate to do my graduate degree at Notre Dame, and of course we had a tough loss in the Fiesta Bowl here. I worked in Congress after 9/11 for the vice chairman of the House International Relations Committee. That's going to give me some national security experience as we deal with ISIS and other threats here that I think will be unique for other candidates in the race. We don't know who all the candidates will be, but I definitely have some national security experience from my time in Congress. I worked on a bill to save public law to save women from sex trafficking. My profession and my pride and joy, besides my wife and 3 boys, is being an educator. I've been at Seton Catholic Central High School in Binghamton for the last 11 years. I'm dean of students. I'm an American history teacher who teaches the Constitution. I'm an adjunct professor at the community college. I also have taught in the summer at the McCormick Secure Center. It's a maximum security youth detention facility near Ithaca. So we have a vast background as an educator. That's who I'm running as, essentially an educator. But since the last run, I've had one more passion that has filled my appetite and has really prepared me for this run. Jack Kemp, the old Buffalo Bill football star, who spearheaded the Reagan tax cuts. They were Kemp-Roth, the Reagan tax cuts were, and the great revitalization we experienced in the 80s into the early 90s. He mentored me, and I was heartbroken when Jack died. I've been fortunate to work for his son at the Jack Kemp Foundation these last several years, and every day I wake up reading the papers, looking at policy, trying to see the world through the eyes of Jack Kemp, hopeful, optimistic.
Yeah.
How can we revitalize America again? And that's the message I'll be bringing to this campaign. We haven't officially announced yet. I filed paperwork, and we were fortunate in 4 days before between Christmas and New Year's to raise $100,000.
I saw that.
We had a release yesterday about the $100,000, but we'll be doing an official announcement in Utica soon.
All right, tell me a little rapid fire here. I've got about 2.5 minutes. So your thoughts on this past December? There was a threat that the government was going to be shut down over Planned Parenthood. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so this is a false choice again, and I blame one person, and that's the president. we have billions of dollars, trillions of dollars in funding. We've got to get that down dramatically. The spending is out of control. But we have the economy, we have national security as huge issues, and the president wants to try to shut down the government over Planned Parenthood funding. There's plenty of agencies that we could fund that aren't doing abortion, that aren't the nation's #1 abortion.
So would you defund
do health services for women? So I blame the president for it.
All right. Would you defund Planned Parenthood?
Absolutely, they should not get funding.
Okay.
They're the #1 abortion provider, and what they were doing to those babies.
And would you would you shut down the government? Would you have shut down the government if you were in Congress? Would you have voted for that?
I wouldn't shut down the government. I think it was on the president. The Republicans didn't make a great job of making a case.
All right. Okay.
For it, but they didn't make the case. I again blame this on the president. I believe he was the one that was trying to shut down the government.
One of the other issues. Let's talk about guns. Of course, the president made a big announcement yesterday. Your thoughts on that?
I'm an American history teacher who teaches the Constitution, and I have great pride in the Second Amendment. I have an A rating from the NRA. The president is, again, going way outside his constitutional authority. He's done it on health care by changing the law, by making the law. He tried to do this on immigration. He's trying to do it on guns now. So this is deeply troubling here. I think if the president was doing his job with ISIS and we were defeating them, we wouldn't have had the massacre in San Bernardino. Why would these terrorists want to die for a cause that was failing? Instead, we've had a lackluster effort against ISIS. When we have the horrific attacks in Paris, we have them followed up by the French asking us, "Where's ISIS? Where are the sites that we need to hit?" We're telling France where to hit. How come we weren't hitting those sites before?
What do you? What would your?
I blame the president on that as well.
What would your plan be? Do you see? This is the cliche: boots on the ground.
So, again, as I said, our plan has been lackluster. We need to certainly step up airstrikes. We need to build a stronger coalition. I know we're putting some special forces in, but it's something I'll be getting into on the campaign trail. I don't want to give out our whole platform the first day here.
All right. And finally, one of the things that Congressman Hanna did, and he was criticized for, is he came out openly against the Benghazi, the latest hearing, as there were several. And his thoughts were, listen, nothing's going to come out of it. We've vetted this thing. It's going nowhere. It's a waste of time. Let's work on things that we can actually produce something. He received a lot of criticism on that. Would you criticize him for that?
I won't criticize Congressman Hanna. I'll just say that it was a tragedy that happened in Benghazi, and we certainly want the truth to get out. There's many committees in Congress, so the Benghazi committee could do their part. Other committees are doing their work, but the focus of myself and my campaign is going to be on Jack Kemp-style policies to help revitalize this economy in this nation and national security. Those are the two issues we have to focus on, as well as getting the debt under control. Right
now you have one opponent in the Republican primary. Her name is Claudia Tenney. She's an assemblywoman, quite conservative. Do you know anything about Claudia?
Certainly know about her, and we're interested to see how the field shapes up. We know there's a lot of names out there, and we're looking forward to a spirited race. And again, as Jack Kemp always told me, we're going to win on ideas. The Phillips campaign is going to be laying out a lot of ideas. We feel like we're off to a great start. We're humbled by the amount of support we got fundraising-wise in just a few days, and we're looking forward to a spirited campaign with all the opponents who might be in this primary.
And listen, as long as we're talking about conspiracy and talking about money, I'll talk about conspiracy theories. Yesterday, after you announced that you'd raised about $100,000 in 4 days, people were asking the question, where did the money come from? Are you in there to block Claudia Tenney? So where did the money come from?
Sure. We were very fortunate in our last race when we were a huge underdog in a district with 43,000 more Democrats to raise $600,000. So we stayed active, and we'll be disclosing. We have to, by law, disclose those donors by January 31st, so we'll be submitting that report as required by law. But I had $10 donors, and I had donors donating the maximum amount. It was just amazing. We were truly honored and humbled by the outpouring of support, and we're off to a great start. But I'm trying to be the congressman for the whole district, not just Binghamton. So we've got a tremendous base in Binghamton, but I want to make the case to the people of Utica why we could do a great job representing them in Congress, and I appreciate your time giving me the opportunity to do this on the show today.
All right, George, we'll hopefully have you in studio. We can sit down with you.
Hey, thanks so much, and look
All right.
for us to be in Utica next week for an official announcement.
All right, George Phillips, thanks so much for your time, George.
Hey, Happy New Year to you.
Okay, George is running for the congressional seat, which will be vacated by Richard Hanna at the end of the year. He's a Republican. He'll be going, at this point, up against Claudia Tenney. He has all the right answers, right?
He does, and
I mean, he knows well how to avoid a question.
That was early on, right? He answered what he wanted to answer today. I
Yeah.
thought he was quick, though.
Yeah,
he
very
was quick.
Okay, I'll give him that. 7:32. Hold tight. We'll come back with news. Christine has it next on WIBX.